Hey everyone, this is the wrap-up edition for the season 2021 of the GardenStateHSWrestling.com podcast, Near Fall Back Points. I'm your host, Donald J. Brower. Going to kind of tell you some things up on a season that's kind of historic in a way of how it went and some of the news that's come out since it ended. But before we do that, we got to deal with the money man, Dan Wernickoff, Champion Athletes. Dan has been a huge supporter of this site and wrestling in general, you know, in his time with nutrition. He is the one who Pat Glory credits with helping him get his 2 titles. Pat Glory made it for finals twice, said he didn't feel good, didn't feel energized. Went to Dan Wernickoff, he got it taken care of. Dan Wernickoff is a proven winner. He works with wrestlers, football players, basketball players, non-athletes in the state of New Jersey, out of the state of New Jersey. If you want to feel healthy and lose weight, Dan Wernickoff is your man. See him at championathletes.com, and that'll be the best way to get in contact with him. But he is a great supporter, and thank you, Dan, for everything you've done, not only in the past, but this season, which, as we said, is one of the crazier seasons of recent times. Now, we're going to kind of, as I said, do our wrap-up, talk a little bit about, you know, I've been getting a couple questions about how everything's going to be with my year-end awards. They're already posted. They're up there. I've gotten some feedback. There's some questions. I figure we were going to kind of talk about that, so I figure I'll lay it out there. The site's all updated. Everybody's final record is up. My final top 10 is up. Jared will put it right here. And then, you know, that'll be here. And that's my final top 10. Nothing's really changed, obviously, from previous podcasts with states and such. There were some matches that were wrestled after region started. I didn't give them a lot of weight because while some other places might have overreacted to, say, a Madison beating Hanover Park, I talked to both coaches and they understood that there was, you know, certain circumstances that made that match closer to what it would have. But that'll be something we have up there. But great dual meet season. Some teams obviously had a little more success than others. Some teams had a lot more matches than others. But we want to kick it down. We're going to go bottom up. So I'm going to start with the Independence Division. My Independence Division, all top teams. Obviously, Madison, great year. 10-0, 11-0 in the conference. Or excuse me, flip that. 11-0, 10-0 in the conference. For my awards, obviously, they're my team of the year. My coach of the year is Mike Goodwin. For them to be able to come out and wrestle, have a big stop, and then still be on that roll when it continued, including a win over a really solid Mountain Lakes team, I think that was a great year for them. And the one thing I got about this award bracket was, why didn't I pick a third team? Well, when you look at this division, Dover opted out, so you lost a set of wrestlers there. Morris Catholic didn't have a full team. Parsippany didn't have a full team. So it wasn't fair to start naming and trying to stretch it around. So I went with my only 2 teams. First time I've ever done that, where I've only had a top 2. So that was my thinking behind the Independence Division. Liberty Division, team of the year has to be Hanover Park. They won it going away. Did catch a little flack from certain people who remained unnamed for my early season predictions. But as we say, but I was always right. Just kidding. But Hanover Park winds up taking it. Now, the wrestler of the year is Evan Mugabe from Kinnelon. Now, a lot of people are going to ask me about your. There's a reason I did this. So Evan Mugabe is my Liberty Division wrestler of the year. Finished second, was a state champion a year ago. And my coach of the year, Dave Hewlin from Booton. So Booton had a good season. Finished one match under 500, you know, in a tough schedule. But for them to have 3 kids qualify and 2 medalists, that was a banner year for Booton. So congratulations, coach. And it was a really good season for you guys. Now we switch up to the Colonial Division. Team of the year, Hackettstown. I wasn't sold on Hackettstown in the beginning. They proved me wrong. They beat a really good group of wrestling teams, and they had to be my team of the year. They ran away with that division and were the only team above 500. Great season. And also, it was their head coach, Frank Rogers, last year. He's stepping down. So great way to send him out is he was my coach of the year. Now, my co-wrestler of the year. This was tough and I didn't know which way to lean, but I went with Michael Mastriani from Opakam and Daniel Hawes from Lenape Valley. They both had great seasons, didn't advance the states like they wanted to. They got another, well, I know Michael's got another shot next year, but they both had really great seasons, and it was kind of tough. So I said, hey, I run the site. Why am I choosing? And so I decided to go with my co-wrestlers here. Freedom division, there's a switch up there. This team, this is the division that was kind of, to me, a little hurt more by the COVID, because they didn't get to finish their schedule. So, for example, Jefferson was 1-0 in the division. Kittatinny was 2-0. I would have loved to have seen those two teams wrestle. It just would have been great to see, and kind of get an understanding of where they fell. As it is, they didn't, because, with COVID, it was close. So my team of the year is Jefferson. I felt they did enough. My coach of the year, John Gill. Gill winning his 600th win this year, and having some more medals added to the wall. It's a legendary coach. This is a guy who is still coaching teenagers, and he started coaching when I was 2 years old. So he's still relevant. He's still producing winning teams. And of course, my wrestler of the year for the Freedom Division is Brian Saldano from High Point, two-time state champion. So, I mean, that's kind of my thinking there. My national division. Now, this is kind of interesting as well, because two teams, we had a tie. Two teams kind of came out of nowhere. I thought Morris Hills would be good. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to apologize, and I usually don't do this. I severely underestimated Roxbury. I thought they had some quality wrestlers coming back, but I wasn't sure they had the depth to be competitive. And so I wholeheartedly apologize to the Roxbury community that I underestimated you guys. And I don't know if that was, we didn't get a chance to do the videos in person, and I usually get a better feel. My apologies. Their coach, DJ Roman, I have my coach of the year. Luke Stanage was my wrestler of the year. And then the other team that tied them, Morris Hills, for them to do what they did and not only qualify, but just have a really good overall run with what they did, and to be able to be as competitive as they are. Coach Bolette has really turned that program around in the last few years, and numbers are way up. So things are really good for those squads. And then we head up to the American division. Now, my coach of the year, Sean Smythe from Mount Olive, only loss was to Del Barton, which, that's kind of I don't know if that's a good loss or a bad loss, but it's still a loss. But, you're very competitive with everything he does. They were also my team of the year in the American division. They finished second. They said 10-1. And my co-wrestlers of the year are Dan Jones, the freshman, who won it for Del Barton in 106. And on the other end of the spectrum, Nick Lodato from Pope John, who won it up top. So those are my two wrestlers. And people are like, well, how do you have Mount Olive? Or this is why. When I do my awards, I'm not doing it to just kind of keep harping on stuff, but I have a conference coach of the year. I have an overall conference coach of the year, overall conference co-wrestlers of the year, and a conference team of the year. Now, if I do that, that's also the same. I have other people I have to represent the other spots, because I feel, especially in the American division, which is ridiculously tough, I try to make it so everybody can get some recognition, because wrestling is such a grind. So I felt bad. And I don't want to say, let me rephrase that. I didn't feel bad. I felt there was a lot of talent in that American division that should have been showcased. And that's why I did what I did. But now, as we head to the all area awards, coach of the year, Brian Stoll. I mean, from Del Barton, I don't know, watching him pace around, he almost feels like he's out there with the wrestlers, as excited as he gets. And that's something you want in a coach, somebody who's going to, be out there. And, obviously the team of the year is Del Barton, 7-0, number one team in the state, nationally ranked number 4 from what I've seen. And they've been getting a lot of love around the country. Really great banner year. I wish, this is another team, I wish we could have seen them have a shot at not only some other teams like Bergen Catholic and stuff like that, but just seeing how much of a run they could have gone on, going forward into states and such. And my co-wrestlers of the year, we talked about before when I was talking about Liberty, Joey Oliveri, 3-time state champion. Other finish was 4th. So you're talking about a 4-time medalist. He's one of my co-wrestlers of the year. Andy Tracinsky from Del Barton. The journey he went on from last year, finishing second, and the disappointment and everything, for him to be able to harness that and come back and win the next year, just talk about a redemption story. I mean, you couldn't help but, root, and just for him to be able to come out there and do that, that's kind of, what we're doing. And, that's how I look at it. If people ask me, like, for example, I was asked, why didn't I put Madison in the top 10? And like I said, I talked to some of the coaches, but Madison beat some okay teams, but they didn't beat a lot of world beaters. Their schedule was what they had, but it wasn't like they were out there against Del Barton. That's no offense to Madison at all. But some of the teams they wrestled, obviously in division and such, but they still had a quality season. So they would have, obviously they would have been my next in. But, this has probably been one of the strangest years because I only got to cover 2 matches, which were the regions. We were live on there. So I got to, do some stuff with that. And those videos are up as well for the podcast with the champions and such and the region winners. But I didn't really get to go out to a lot of matches. Scheduling this year was insane. You'd have a match and it'd be changed and then it'd be switched. And some of these ADs need to go relax and have a drink because the way everything was getting done, it was tough. But I mean, we're trying to get back to a little bit normal. I'm not sure. I'm working on it. We're trying to have a all-star match. It's tough with the season getting pushed back, trying to get everybody. I was looking at doing something in June. We'll see if that comes through. Most likely probably will be end of July. If that's the case, we'll see. I'm not making any guarantees, just trying to get everything going on until we get a full okay from Pumpkin-Headed Dipshit that we're good to go. Once we see, I can kind of rearrange, but I don't want to get something set up, get everybody excited, and all of a sudden, we're back in a hole. But, I was saying before, some of the stuff that came after, if you haven't looked it up, you have to read about what happened with Phillipsburg. Just interesting stuff. And it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. And I hope it comes out for the best, but we'll never really see. I'm sure it could be that it happened. It could be an oversensitive bureaucrat who just, or oversensitive administrator. Who knows? But everybody's innocent until proven guilty, except, for me, you're always guilty till you're proven innocent. But it's been a great year with everything, measured up. And I'm hoping to do another one. We never know, but we'll see as it gets closer. I'm going to relax. I'm going to take my wife on a nice little vacation. She deserves it. She usually has a vacation right now, but she's had to deal with me and my ever-growing beard. I kind of trimmed up a little bit. But for Jared, the podcasting legend, I'm Donald J. Brower. I'll talk to you next season.